In this lesson, we'll practice creating frequency tables and Venn diagrams from word problems and given information. The steps for creating a frequency chart involve first identifying the categories in the problem. Usually, two key pieces of information will be given, event A and event B. There may be other information given that includes not event A and not event B, so look to the overlap of the two key pieces of data to find the categories for your problem. Set up a chart with the appropriate number of rows and columns, and then fill in the information provided. You're going to have two types or categories of information. You're going to have event A, and so when you set up your table, along next to event A, you'll have something like not event A. And then on the side, you'll have event B, and then not B. You're going to use addition and subtraction to fill in any empty cells. Make sure that the total matches with the given total provided, and then use the chart to answer the probability questions. Usually, the first thing you want to do is identify the overlap of event A and event B, and place this here in addition to your total. Let's get started with some practice. Of the 220 people who came into the Italian deli on Friday, 104 bought pizza, 82 used a credit card. Half of the people who bought pizza used a credit card. So this is the overlap of those two pieces of data. Buying pizza is event A, and using a credit card is event B. What is the probability that a customer bought pizza or used a credit card? So let's fill in our table to start. There are 220 people total, and our total will go here. Then we have 104 people who bought pizza, and we have 82 people who used a credit card. Finally, we have half of the people who bought pizza used a credit card. So that's both event A and event B. Half of 104 is 52. Now we'll use addition and subtraction to fill in the missing pieces. So in the total column, I'll take 220 minus 104 to get 116. In the total row at the bottom, I'll take 220 minus 82 to get 138. Now what does this 138 data represent? The first column in our table represents the people who used a credit card to pay. So the next column should represent not using a credit card to pay. On the side, we have our pizza labeled for the first row. So the second row should represent the people who did not order pizza. So maybe those people ordered something else different from the Italian restaurant like pasta, and at the top, if they didn't use a credit card, maybe they used cash or Venmo. So now we'll continue subtracting to find the differences in the rows and columns to complete the table. So 104 minus 52 is 52. 138 minus 52 is 86. And then 82 minus 52 in the first column is 30. And then we want to just double check that all of the rows and columns add up to the correct totals across the bottom and the side, and it does. And so we're asked to find the probability that a customer bought pizza or used a credit card. So the probability of ordering pizza is 104 out of 220. And the probability of using a credit card is 82 out of 220. And this is an overlapping event, so we'll need to subtract the overlap. And the overlap of pizza and credit card is 52. We'll add and subtract to find the probability, which gives us 134 out of 220, which simplifies to 67 out of 110, or 61%. When you're setting up your Venn diagram, there are a couple of different methods that you can use. You can use the chart that you made or create yourself a frequency table in order to set up your Venn diagram, or you can use your information in your word problem to set up your Venn diagram that way. So first thing you want to do is identify the categories in the problem, then set up a box which represents the universe of your Venn diagram, containing the appropriate number of overlapping circles. We'll start with the overlapping information in the space where the circles overlap. Then we'll use addition and subtraction to fill in any empty circles. We'll put the remaining total outside the circles and inside the box. This represents all of the data that fits into neither of the two categories of information. Make sure the total of all the numbers in the box matches the given total of the provided information, and then use the diagram to answer the probability questions. Notice that these steps are very similar to the ones that we used to complete our table. We started with the overlapping information, and then we used subtraction to find the other pieces that we needed. So let's practice setting up a Venn diagram. We have the same given information for the scenario from the previous problem, and the first thing we want to do is label our two events that are represented by the two circles. In this case, they are labeled for us, but when we're labeling them ourselves, we want to identify the two types of data that are overlapping. In this case, it's people who bought pizza and used a credit card, and half of the people who bought pizza used a credit card, so that number will go right here in the middle. After you determine the categories, we'll read back through the problem and find out how we can place the numbers into the Venn diagram. There were 220 people total who came into the deli on Friday, and then we had 104 who bought pizza. We had 82 who used a credit card, and it says half of the people who bought a pizza used a credit card. So pizza and credit card is half of the pizza orderers, which was 52. So that'll go here in the middle because that's our overlap. Now to figure out how many people bought pizza but did not use a credit card, I'll subtract the number of people who did use a credit card to buy pizza from the total number of pizza purchasers, and that will give me 52 for the left-hand side of my Venn diagram. Then I'll do the same thing for the credit card users. So in the entire circle of credit card users, I should have 82 total. There are 52 already in there, so I need to subtract 52 here. That will give me 30 for this side. Then I need the entire universe of this scenario to contain 220 total people. So I'll add the number of people inside and subtract that from the total to find the remaining number of people in the universe who did not order pizza or use a credit card. So a quick recap for your strategy on Venn diagrams: find the overlap of the data to determine the two data categories, and then fill in the center of your Venn diagram with the intersection of those two events. Next, fill in the remaining parts of your circles by subtracting the overlap from each event's total. In this case, event A is pizza, so I'll take the total for pizza and subtract the event overlap. And I'll do the same thing on the right-hand side for event B, which in this case is credit card. You'll take event B and subtract the overlap from that as well to fill in the other circle in the Venn diagram. Finally, subtract the data within your categories from the total to find what remains in the universe. So here we're going to compare and contrast the process for setting up a frequency table versus a Venn diagram to solve probabilities. For the frequency table, I'm going to start by reading through the words and deciding what are my data categories. Of 500 athletes surveyed, 300 were male, and 20 were left-handed. Only 8 of the left-handed athletes were female. So In this overlap with the left-handed and the female, this tells me that these are my two categories, left-handed and female. So I'm going to put those into my chart, female and left-handed. My other column will be not female, which is known as male. On my rows, left-handed and then not left-handed is the same as right-handed. So again, you're defining your two data categories based on the overlapping events left-handed and female. One of those is event A, and next to it you'll place not event A. The other is event B, and next to it you'll put not event B. And then we'll start to fill in our numbers. So the total will go down here, so that's 500. And then 300 were male. 20 are left-handed. 8 were left-handed and female. Then we'll start subtracting to find the other categories. So 500 minus 20 is 480. Then 20 minus 8 is 12. 300 minus 12 is 288. 500 minus 300 is 200. And 200 minus 8 is 192. So now I'm going to fill in my Venn diagram in a similar manner. The overlap was left-handed and female. I'll put the overlap in the middle. They didn't give us the number of females, so we'll start with left-handed. There were 20 left-handed athletes and 8 are in the overlap, leaving 12 that are left-handed but not female. Next, I knew that my total number of athletes was 500, and 300 of them are male. So outside of this female group, 300 are male. So that means that 200 are female. I'll subtract the 8 that are in the overlap to get 192. If I had already set up the table, and I actually personally prefer to set up the table to find these numbers, because once you set up your table, you know that your overlap is going to go here in the middle. And then all of the other values that you need for your Venn diagram will exist in the frequency table here. So the 12 left-handed people who are not female go here, and the 192 females who are not left-handed go here, and then the remainder of the total who are not female and not left-handed go outside of your circles in the universe of your sample space. When you're finished, you can check your Venn diagram by making sure that the numbers add up to the total for the data given. Now we're ready to practice. Let's try this first one together. Mr. Oglesby keeps track of his students' homework completion. He keeps track of how many boys and girls do not complete their homework. He puts the students who don't complete their homework into two categories, first-time offenders and repeat offenders. He uses a table to keep track of the results. Number 1, in 1 month, 36 girls and 12 boys did not do their homework for the first time. In the same month, 12 girls and 30 boys did not do their homework again. Record these figures in the table. Next, it says how many students did not complete their homework assignments this month. So we're looking for the total number of students in all categories so that we can find the total number of students in the table. 30 plus 12 is 42. 36 plus 12 is 48. So we have a total of 90 students. 36 plus 12 is 48, and 30 plus 12 is 42. So for number 2, how many students did not complete all their homework assignments this month? That would be the total number of students, which is 90. What percentage of students who did not complete their homework were boys who were first-time offenders? So all of the students in the table did not complete their homework, so the denominator of our proportion will be 90. And then we will identify the number of boys who were first-time offenders, which is 12. We'll calculate the percentage by dividing 12 by 90 to get 13%. Number 4, are boys or girls more likely to not complete their homework? The total number of girls who did not complete their homework was 48 out of 90 is 53%. The boys who did not complete homework was 42 out of 90, which is 47%. So the girls are less likely to complete their homework. Now you're ready to practice. Good luck!